Everybody, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to a post-Easter Ravens Voice. This is Zealous here, and back with Tierson,
Da, 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 da.
with all
Bow,
his own
bow.
themes here, right? We're going nutty with the whole theme department. If you didn't hear that already, uh,
It's a show.
it is. Um,
Put it away.
do it live.
Right in with the cat litter.
We were talking a little bit beforehand. I just had a moment, to kind of tune in and just check the show out from afar. It was fun, hearing the banter, going about some of the latest things going on in the community, from design contest and other things, and having Gladio come on and talk. It was nice to be a listener for once. This is my first time. Uh,
Just a guy.
just that guy out there. Uh,
Just a guy for a week.
I would like to do it
Oh,
again. I'd like to do it again sometime. It's hey,
well,
things worked out, so maybe.
last week's show sucked.
Yeah.
I blame Gladio mostly. No, we
Yeah.
talked about it. I haven't had the time
Right,
the
right.
last month or so to do all the stuff I want to and all the stuff I want to do for the show. So, I last week's topic could have been done more justice than what it was, but of course we actually had a current topic play into it a bit too, so that made it a
Yeah,
bit more interesting.
yeah. But where we're sitting now, I think here you have it. These are the kind of moments you need, I think, coming out of not just a holiday, but have another topic just to kind of recalibrate. It's chaotic and goofy. I think as some of these shows can be. I think we always manage to throw in some Armored Core sauce somewhere on the middle of it, and
Dude,
this is.
first spots everywhere.
Yeah,
I think one time we actually talked about something not related to Armored Core, and that
yeah,
was actually a throwaway show.
yeah.
I think we talked about like The Walking Dead and stuff.
Right, right, right.
That was the last one. In September. No,
No, a little.
no, it was when they came back from mid-season
Right.
break. So it was like February.
There you go. But here we are, our next throwaway with themes galore. And before we start throwing away even harder, I think we should do those plugs that are so timely that tend to come in around this time.
Um, yeah. Okay,
About
so
those.
uh, ArmoredCoreLacy.com. You got to go there. The most active forum for Armored Core. Let's see what else is there. Oh yeah, ours. RavensVoice.com. Best place to find our episodes and
Hmm.
listen to them there. Soon we will have the database up.
Hmm.
Soon. And email us, which we have an email we're going to talk about tonight.
Yes.
A good topic tonight. Perfect for a throwaway show. Actually, this came in over a week ago, so I just missed it. See what happens when you're gone, dude? I missed it.
Yeah,
Last week's, but I'm glad you're here for it this week. I'm glad we this week. We're both here for
for
it.
sure.
But email us at ravensvoiceacl@gmail.com. There's your plugs.
Right on. Right down into it.
Let's get back to the A-team team.
There's just been way too much 80s goodness starting to show off, which is rocked. It's kind of funny. I feel like I'm going retro to retro. I spent uh, my Easter weekend, extended Easter weekend, in Illinois, hanging, catching up with a lot of my friends and everything. And I got a buddy with a retro gaming cabinet and all this stuff. He picked up a lot of stuff when he was overseas in Japan, but he's a collector, and along with another one of my friends. So I kind of got a heavy nostalgia dose from them. It's just checking out the new stuff they got for their cabinets and everything. And now, I come back here and I get, uh, man, A Team, and I see Thundercats running around. What more can a man ask for?
Crazy, we know about Thundercats, but they don't know about Thundercats. Um, okay, so what do you want to talk about the decal stuff some more? Because I mean, obviously this is an important topic to you.
Yeah,
You and I are digital artists, so I'm sure you have feels about this.
yeah. One of the first things Tierson was talking about as we kind of got reoriented here was the threads we've had going on at ACL, and I know to a degree at ACU as well, as Tim Ravens pointed out. The biggest thing this whole topic came over was the new design contest. Queen Drac, if you weren't looking, has posted his next announcement for a new aesthetic design contest, and in the TRV thread there was a discussion about decals, emblems, the way the contest was set up for the previous event, the previous version, how things went, who was on the picture taking side, just logistics, how this stuff is organized and how it went. And this was discussed, in our previous episode too. Glad you'll hit it about allowing decals or not allowing decals and where that sits in terms of the design process. Okay. Just getting a chance to read this, look through the thread, kind of process things. I understand from a logistics standpoint saying that, okay, it's easier to manage when you kind of have designs coming through, the set hands to deal with them. Like, okay, Xbox side, 360 side, go, get in, you get everything nice and clean. You got the same equipment you're using. I get that. The first thing I want to do, I know I'm asking a dead question here because there's no one to answer it, but I'm gonna post it out there in hopes some of you can post up. TM Raven, I'm specifically asking you because I know you have a lot of info about this.
Looking at
Yeah, how many? What I want to know is how many 360 players posted designs for the last event, and how many were active with that? You talked about having someone available on that side to do so, and it's apparently a slightly difficult thing or to do, and that's already kind of sparse. But I'm just wondering what the participation was like. And this is I think valid because Drac himself talks in fairness of trying to keep the event fair, keep the event as even as possible and not offend others by feeling they're on some kind of uneven ground with decals. I look at this and I look at AC5 specifically and the advent of how we can place decals and just for the paint process, I've always felt this is an integral one and can definitely be a lot of fun too. Tierson added some late thoughts to this thread as well. He posted
my early thoughts.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I came back today and
There you go.
put
Yeah,
in some.
yeah. It was the design you posted specifically. This example of showing decals, right? And the way you did it, I think it's important to point out, wasn't an uber complicated way. Of taking your screenshot, going through VD Link, and getting your picture from there and posting it. Done deal. Myself personally, now from doing old design contests, and by the way, I am going to enter a quad too in this contest. I definitely missed that last time. It's going to happen this time, but from doing old design contests, I guess having the burden of proof, so to speak, on the person who submits, that's not a breaking point for me, right? Like I don't mind that, in the submitting. Like if I were to do something like for 5 or whatnot, I wouldn't mind going that extra bit, right, to get things submitted or my screenshot right. I guess all that being said, I know not everyone is going to share the same perspective. Drac and others, I know you guys want to keep this thing, fair, and hey, it is your decision. I completely respect that. In the end, it's going to be your call, even though you said you're flexible in this rule specifically. But end of the day, long story short, emblems, decals are, I believe, such a part of the design process in AC5 and AC Verdict Day. Why not allow them? I think some of that's going to come down to the actual crowd that participates. That's why I posted that question earlier. Who's actually available to do so? Who would be there for pictures and everything. In all cases, I don't think it's always the biggest seller that the guy with the emblem's going to win or the guy with the decals place is going to win. Yeah, I mean a well painted design, right? I mean, can be uber strong and can easily trump one with just very oddly botched place decals and everything like that. So I don't feel it's a breaker just by having access to that feature, and I don't think you're doing harm to your event by allowing that. Again, I know you're going to look at all factors, and you can't really get a pre-count, everybody raising their hands of, hey, I'm going to be submitting from 360, and hey, I'm submitting from PS3 beforehand. But yeah, I don't think it's something that would kill your event, and I feel that it would. While you feel it may be a slightly more logistic headache, I believe it would grant more options and it would grant more flexibility. Not Hunter. He was the first person to post, in fact, in the event thread saying something similar. So look out for fan input on this one. Just kind of think it over, and hey, in the end, man, go with what you guys enjoy. So
No, don't go with what you enjoy.
do it. Do
Do it.
decals.
Do what's right.
Put them in.
Like, I'll say the same thing I said last week. It's a shame that Gen 4 does not have the option that Gen 5 does, which is the ability to take screenshots, upload them to Xlink, and then give them to you in the best quality that you could take a picture in. Yeah, Gen 4 doesn't have that option. That's a shame. But Gen 5 does, and Gen 5 should not be restricted, regardless of 360 or PS3. Gen 5 should not be restricted because Gen 4 can't do it.
Yeah.
There's no reason why people who wanna put something with a bunch of decals or not. There's no reason why Gen 5 entirely shouldn't just be submitted screenshots by people who want to enter ACs. That saves you a lot of work. That puts all the burden on them. And if they take crappy pictures, well, then that's their fault. If they didn't display their AC properly, that's their fault. And this all more goes into, the aesthetics of the event.
Hmm.
Okay, again, Gen 4 doesn't have an option. I'm sure that'll make a couple people cry. But to be completely honest, for those who truly enjoy Gen 4, they should probably cry a little.
I mean, the features that we have are there for what they are at this point. And then going back through and peeling through things isn't going to change what's available in game. I think take those things and work with them for what they are.
Well,
Um,
okay, so I mean, let me ask this:
yeah,
if all gens of the game had the ability for people, and I know this is not possible, especially with some of them coming from the '90s, but let's say it is. All the previous AC games have the ability to take a screenshot of their AC, load it up so that you can get it off the internet from your computer and submit it. If all the games could do that, would this even be a thing?
I
Would
doubt
would
it.
this would this even be an issue? This would not even be an
No,
issue.
I doubt it. I heavily doubt it. I
So why
yeah.
why why hinder the evolution that came with Gen 5?
And I mean, at this point, we have people that are looking forward to, the next gen AC, PS4, and beyond, and the chapters that have been written for five are what they are by this point. There aren't going to be the major revolutionary, overhauls of that. This is not a Reaper of Souls expansion for Armored Core, even though Diablo 3 is another story in and of itself for expansions. But I mean, here you have it. Like it or lump it. Gen 5 is what it is. 4 is what it is. I say go with those features, use them for what they're there for, the best of their ability, and go with it. They're there to be used, not to sit and
So
look pretty.
right, right. Well, and it lends itself to this. I mean, I get again. I say it in my post in last week's topic thread. I understand what you're doing by trying to be uniform and stuff, but let's talk about the options of decals and custom emblems. I mean, okay, so a certain amount of that can be shared, but if you have to recreate any of these things, you're not going to do them justice. Not if they're really good.
Yeah,
So I don't really understand the point of that either. I think that's a moot point. I mean, I go back to the fact of, Gen 5 lends itself to this. It lends itself to have the most unique and detailed aesthetics for an AC. It lends itself to putting in photos for it.
right.
I mean, if you're so worried about, just say, hey, look, okay, so here's what we want. We want a front shot, we want a side shot. We want some from the perspective from looking down on the AC. Or add whatever you want that really shows off your decals. And if they do a crappy job, it's their fault.
Simple enough.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't understand. I don't understand looking at this, at least for Gen 5, why this is even still an issue, why this is even still being discussed. I mean, it takes the burden off of them, and it allows everything that's in Gen 5 that should be allowed in the aesthetic contest.
Well, in TM Raven, you say that there's people, yourself and others in ACU that take time out of your lives, out of your schedule to help organize this and do so. And um, it's easy to, I think, to skate around the language. But the way when I read that, it just kind of hinted at, okay, look, like we're taking time aside to do this, and things are already busy, or we might be overtaxed as is. Well, shoot, let the community help you out some. If it is truly a stressful thing, to go through that or have those moderation channels, by all means, I think let the fans pull a bit on that out. It shouldn't harm you. So
I guess
yeah,
looking past that, let's look at a situation where there are there are people on, let's say for Gen 4 on the Xbox side that really wants to include an AC that has a bunch of decals and stuff, and he can't take his own screenshot. And somebody in the staff of this event does say that, oh, I'll put it back, I'll recreate it or something, but there's no one to take a screenshot of it. I mean that sucks.
Yeah.
That's a shame. Somebody's not going to be able to get their AC in. That is a damn shame. But does everyone else have to suffer for that?
Mm.
Should everyone else suffer for that? I don't think. I think that's more unfair.
You know, on this line too of just the communication that Xbox and PlayStation 3 have had together during if you can call it communication for this era of Armored Core period, for 4 and 5. Um yeah, I kind of feel it's the AC was this ship at sea that got hit by a cannonball, and then everybody and we jumped on escape rafts, and we had a PlayStation 3 side and we had an Xbox side. People swear their promises and their gallantry of, oh, hey, keep in touch, keep in touch. Hey guys, don't, separate. We'll try to build bridges, but as many as we tried to throw and rope over, well, the systems were ultimately, incompatible. We couldn't land. We couldn't play online together, and we acknowledged each other's existence. People were like friendly to each other and everything, but there was only so much we could do, right? And I think we had to acknowledge that and kind of deal with it. And it stinks. It bites. I mean, I don't think any of us just prayed and begged and wished to see the AC community fractured like that. But it's been a matter, just like the rest of the games this generation, of dealing with what's come our way, dealing with a very difficult situation for the community that was put in, starting by design, with AC being split. And as long as it's split, you're going to have problems. It's not going to be smooth. It's not going to be smooth. I really cannot think of ways, honestly, to just fully book and streamline both sides and be like, bam, all this
Yeah,
is even.
well, yeah. I mean, should we have not done the March of War because 360 guys couldn't participate?
Precisely. And I mean, dude, that stinks. I mean, don't think that we go through any of these events or anything that happens like, oh, thank God, man, we got to get rid of those 360 players. Yeah, it was great not having them around. No, it sucks every time, and I hate it. I genuinely hate it as an Armored Core fan. Like, yeah, I mean,
No,
have
no, I hate it. Like, you know how much I hate it.
oh yeah, oh yeah. And this is something we grit our teeth on, every time. It sucks, but we just take the best parts we can. We keep trying to move ahead and move forward and maintain this thing. And it's just unfortunate, but I think anything cross-platform like that with AC at this point is just you're not going to be able to keep it fully even. Uh, Nature of it. Some people can say, "Oh, that's concessionary speak." You've just given up on things. You're just no. Uh, all means if I didn't care about this or had given up on something, I wouldn't give a hoot about anything that happens in any community right now, or doing this, or anything else. So that's not the case. I think that's just reality. Just dealing with what's in front of us. So
It's not our fault.
yeah, simple enough. Simple enough. So things are what they are. I wouldn't beat yourself up for it that, well, I've made the most terrible exclusive, non-community event ever because I implemented this feature. Don't kill yourself about that, man. There are things in Armored Core that are there featured by design at this point that, you will simply not trump. It's there, and you just got to deal with it, and you just build the best you can going off that. So
Oh my god, that's such a good metaphor. I don't think you mentioned to people what it was. All right, so that's that.
yeah,
I don't see anything more about it.
no,
I hope I continue to promote the event. I'll probably promote it anyways.
heck yeah,
But I would like to participate.
yeah, yeah. By all means, I kind of smiled at the advertisement I saw for this when I saw the ACL, the ACU, and Raven Republic emblems on the bottom of this. Uh, anything cross community like that always kind of makes me smile. So and now what I haven't been filled in on, I could just be missing it. I understand the ACU side of this. I understand the ACL side of it. I don't understand the Ravens Republic side of it. If those of you who were filled in on that, Team Raven, Drac, anyone else, if you want to post up, talk about that a bit, maybe what Raven Republic will be submitting for this one. If not just designs, if not something else on logistic end, holler. I definitely want to know about that. So
Well, I'll be honest. What the hell's ACL doing about it? I mean, what do we
besides
doing anything for this?
honestly, besides like promotions and some people to submit at this point, maybe toss the banter. Well, I can tell you what, we're not launching a rover to Mars here.
Yeah, well, I get ACU. I mean, most of these guys, their home forms is ACU, so I get that. I don't, yeah,
Right.
but I mean,
Uh,
I don't know.
it
Further, who gave them my logo to use?
it just
No, I don't really care.
uh, I mean, it just seemed like these are the major spots where we'll be drawing participants and like moderators for this event. That's the way I took it. If I'm wrong, hey, post a message, whatever else. But I'm just curious what RR Raven Republic is going to be doing.
It's probably all the forums that it's being highlighted on.
Yeah. So fair enough. Fair enough. Besides that, 'cause I know I normally stop by Raven Republic for the sometimes it's like the mecha features and like the mecha model kits that are usually displayed, like the customs that come out. Some of those are just awesome. The Lick 10 AC from AC3 with the extra armor, that custom design, that was just fantastic and had like an awesome paint job on it too. And Raven Republic always did a good job of plugging content like that. But yeah, seeing them as part of helping with the design contest again, I'm like, oh, cool. I just don't hear much from them anyway. It's kind of a uh, little pocket universe as is.
I can't find my way around Ravens Republic, so I stopped going there.
The Republic is too vast.
Like I think I
Something
talked
like
about
that.
this one other time, and I found myself looking at people bartering for pieces of model kits and such for money that's not American. So I instantly didn't like it.
Oh, America,
Oh,
man.
American.
Crazy, man.
Uh, let's take a break.
Yeah, I was about to say this is it feels like that, it's like I'm feeling the transition here. So we're gonna catch you guys again right after the jump here. We're off the wall.
Thundercats!
Thundercats are on the move. Thundercats are loose. Feel the magic, hear the roar. Thundercats are loose. Thunder, 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 Thundercats. Thunder, 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 Thundercats. Thunder, thunder, Thundercats. Thunder, 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 Thundercats.
Thundercats are loose.
Uh-oh.
Still.
So
that
awesome.
that was all Tierson there. It was, upon his suggestion, more 80s goodness.
Yep.
More, it's funny. For some reason, whenever I start thinking about Thundercats, I get in the Voltron vein too, and like all those oldies and old school stuff to inspire, man. Ronin Warriors too. That was another one I used to watch. Although I can't really count that 80s as much, even though it may have come from 80s. I don't know the year. I watched that one in the early 90s. Uh, the list goes on, man. There's some darn good shows.
Don't all have to be 80s. Some of our themes from the past have been 70s.
Yep.
But yeah, just awesome classic stuff. I mean, even if you weren't around, even if you were born long after that stuff was on the air, you know these songs. We just wait till the last one when we end the show with. I will give you only this hint, and hopefully most of you know it from this best sitcom ever. Period. Period.
Huge hints. Huge hints.
So, yes, yeah. So this is a throwaway show,
Yep.
and so we were just talking about Captain America.
Yeah, yeah, and how I'm a baddie because I'm a big comic fan and especially the Marvel films, and that's really the one I have not caught yet. I intended to catch that while I was gone and running about in Illinois. I was going to try to catch a later showing, didn't add up too well to when I need to be at the airport and gone the next day anyway, so I said never mind. But yeah, man, I've heard nothing but good things about the second Cap, and I'm also super eager to see the new Spider-Man when it comes out too. So,
That's gonna be awesome.
yep,
I saw the new Captain America last Sunday on Easter.
sweet.
It's good. It's good. For those, and there are many who say that it's the best Marvel one since Iron Man 1.
Hmm.
I don't know, and that it's even better than Iron Man 1. I don't know. Iron Man
Whoa.
1 was pretty good.
Yeah, it
That
was.
was pretty awesome. It made even more awesome by the fact that it was not. I don't think it was believed to have been as good as it was. I don't think they were expecting the reception that it got.
Right,
Iron Man, as long as he's been around, as much as he's had a fan base, has never had a huge fan base.
right.
At least not when it comes to a lot of the other ones, like Spider Man. He's kind of always been tier two.
Hmm.
And they've always wanted to elevate him a little bit more. Marvel's always been strongly behind him. But yeah, that movie was great. And even though the second one was still good, and even though the third one generally was not, it's classic. And Captain America 2 was awesome.
Hmm.
Really enjoyed it. I don't want to ruin too much for you. Of course, you're a comic fan, so you probably know most of it, anyways.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was good. But is it that good? No, not
right,
in my
right,
opinion. It was pretty good
right.
though. And then we were talking about the TV show Agents of Shield.
Yep, yep.
That is a lot of fun, and of course, if you're watching the movies, then it just adds into it. It's kind of neat that it works like that, and multiple medias like that. Of course, obviously the comics aren't interactive in that way, but it would be kind of hard to do it. Of course,
Hmm.
they always end up releasing like prequel comics to the movie and stuff like that, and those are always interesting. But yeah, but
Yeah,
the fact
yeah.
that you have the movies and the TV show and they correspond with each other and play off of each other, that's pretty neat. I thought that was pretty cool when they did that late last year with Thor, and
Oh
and then
yeah, yeah.
the movie came out, and then the next episode was all about things that had happened in the movie, and they've done that again this time with Captain America. So that's interesting. That's a lot of fun.
Hmm.
Um, Good stuff though, but yes, Spider-Man. I think that's the big one. As much as I'm a Transformers fan, I'm not a Gen 1 purist, but that's where it was best. And Michael Bay has done a pretty good job of saying this is Transformers in the lightest sense possible. It's giant robots that transform into other things, but it's not Transformers, but it is Transformers because by saying it's Transformers, we make more money. That's pretty much where it's at. And I'm gonna go see Transformers, and
Yeah,
it's kind of a shame what's happened here is that all the negativity surrounding it has kind of taken what looks like it might actually be a decent movie, and that's the Ninja Turtles movie that's coming out this summer.
yeah, yeah, man. I almost forgot about that.
All the negativity surrounding that, especially at one point when Michael Bay openly said that they're going to be aliens instead of mutants, which they're not now. There was so much anger and vile from that fans actually made him change the script, change the whole movie. I finally, they finally released some trailers for that. It looks okay. You know,
Hmm.
it could do well if they keep to it enough, but that's the thing. Michael Bay, at least shown with Transformers, does not keep with these things too well. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll give Transformers one its props. The first movie was pretty good.
Yeah.
Two was an utter pile of shit, and by three you're just like, all right, well it is what it is.
Now, okay, now speaking of Michael Bay films and everything coming out, I'm focusing on Turtles just a moment here. Now, was this a fact? 'Cause I didn't dig into it too far, but I heard a bit about it. What was it? Megan Fox's April O'Neil?
Yeah,
Is that? Wow. I
I'm all right with that. Megan Fox is hot, and she's not a horrible actress either. Now, what ticks me off is that they're changing her backstory a bit. But whatever, I don't really care. I don't really care. I,
yeah.
and I think Casey Jones is in it, and he's different. But it's not about them. Fuck them. If they do Shredder right and they do the Turtles right, then okay, I'm okay then.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I was still wondering a bit about Megan Fox's April, but it depends how much they, I don't know, jump up the
Well, what
start. I
bugs
mean,
you about that?
I don't know. It's just it's an oddity. Like, I mean, Megan Fox is obviously, she had, the main roles in the first couple of Transformers movies that we had, for one thing. And I think it's less about a, oh my gosh, familiarity thing for fans. She's been in a Michael Bay movie before. Then it's just kind of, I don't know, that when we talk about people casted for April O'Neil, and I know that feels, you can get so many actresses to do that, right? But I don't know, she just wasn't who I expected for that. That wasn't just the first thing that was going to pop on top of my head. Is that going to, keep me from seeing Turtles and I'm just putting a boycott on it? No. But it just, I don't know, surprised me a little. I was like, oh, really? So.
If April O'Neil is even in your top 10 reasons to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm a little worried about you.
So, okay, so you said they're changing her, what was it, background a bit.
Yeah, there's something about her father, which I don't remember ever being a thing in the cartoon.
No.
And something about that and all that. I was like, whatever. Okay, tie it in. I don't care. She's not a reporter. I don't really care.
Right. Fair enough.
It's not about that. I've seen they're putting out trailers now. They're actually showing you what the turtles look like, and this was obviously. I think this is honestly the biggest concern is how they're going to look. Are they going to look good?
Right.
I mean, obviously they're going to try to make them look as realistic as possible. Are they going to lose what they are by trying to make them look so realistic? And I think they've done a good job with that. And I think if they play them out right, if they don't overdo it, especially overdoing it in the wrong way, which, like I said, is what Michael Bay seems to be able to do and excel at. So there's reason for concern. But am I going to throw down $10 to see it? Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough, man. I mean, you talk about Turtles. Last thing I remember was, goodness, Secret of the Ooze.
Secret of the Ooze. I think that was the second one. There was actually a third.
That's right.
There was a third one, and I didn't watch this. It came out like 10. Well, at that point, it came out like 10 years ago. And at this point, that was about 14 years ago. I had even forgotten there was a second one. But Next and I, we came across it and we watched it. It sucked. It sucked. The second one sucked too. The first one was awesome, of course. That was great. The first live action Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah, it's a big deal. So, yeah, you can't say I remember too much outside of I don't know, man. Was it Toka and Razar?
What's that?
Well, I thought that was like one of the whole like big premises behind Secret of the Ooze. The idea was the ooze was used to produce another like mutant turtle and like a mutant werewolf dog. I want to say wolf.
Oh, I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that alone, when I was like, of course, way younger, that carried some too for me because I was a nut about the Turtles arcade, man. Like Turtles in Time and all that, and Toka and Razar were like bosses that would appear both in Turtles in Time and in the early Turtles arcade when you made it near the end, and they were always kind of like checkpoints. So I remember them as like major villains from the series, and I always liked to see them. I guess you can call them more minor villains because they were just kind of some of Shredder's beefiest goons. But I liked them, and it was fun seeing them in a live action. So that's cool for me.
Cool.
So,
but, yeah.
Yeah, man. We got an email here.
You have an email.
We got a message from someone who I believe thinks that, at least seems from the way he's worded this, that we pull some strings with Namco Bandai, or we work at From.
If only that was true.
If only it were true. If only it were true, there would be some things different about AC for sure. But alas,
yes,
we don't. This mail is from Greg Maj. And I'm just going to take a second just to kind of stroll through this when he's talking about AC and PC players, which I thought was neat because, that instantly takes my mind to some of the other PC mech titles we have, like Hawken and Mech Warrior. But I'm going to shut up about that. Let me read his message real quick. He greets us. Hello. I first started playing AC4 and AC4 Answer on the Xbox, but since then my Xbox broke and I have moved to PC gaming. I have played a majority of the Armored Cores you guys produce. Oh, thank you. I didn't know we produced Armored Core. And I love how the graphics and controls flow smoothly. Since I came to PC, I have not seen any mech-based games that even come close to how the Armored Core franchise lets you customize and pilot your AC. Same here, we agree. Every AC I played against online, and every AC I built, always had a personal touch to them. that I just can't seem to find in PC Mech games currently in the market. I would love if you guys could transfer one of your recent games over to PC. I would too, it's not ours though. I think it would be great for the community to expand and branch out to players who have been moving away from console gaming, as well as incorporate the mech players who currently play on computers. I hope you guys think this is a great idea of mine, and countless other gamers would love to see it happen. Sincerely, Greg Maj. Well, hey, again, we're not producers or anything along those lines, but this sparks a conversation about Armored Core and PC and Armored Core and console. We spoke, Tierce and I were talking a little bit about this idea before the show.
This is an old topic, as anyone who's listening to this, if
It
you don't
is.
know, you should know. This has been grinded in the community time and again.
It has. It certainly has. You've got some games out there like Hawken and some of the and all of you. I know you've heard of Titanfall by now. It's combining COD and mech shooting together as one. But AC obviously has never had this interaction with the PC servers and console servers. Now, okay, the idea of servers interacting this way isn't foreign. Okay, FF14 Realm Reborn, PS3, PS4, and PC servers all work together. It doesn't matter what spot you play on, you can all meet on the same spot and play. As we know, the AC being fractured the way it is in two consoles right now, yeah, that hurts. But looking at a hypothetical situation, okay, where you have Armored Core on PC and let's say Armored Core on PlayStation, the first thing that pops to my mind immediately, there's automatically more LAN possibilities here some way. I mean, you got all kinds of ports for PC and different, I'm sure, ways you could rig and hook up things. That's fun to think about in and of itself. Plausibility of this happening? No.
If they haven't done it in 17 years,
No.
they're not going to do it.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, Greg. And this is one of those things. You've seen it. You point at it. Armored Core has always been a long-running console title, no matter how experimental From have gotten with it. And ironically, some of the more cutting-edge things that they did at the start. We had the heavy use of iLink, right, and like other features. It was one of the earlier games to push network adapters, especially on JP side. All kinds of cutting edge features like that. I think if we were to see something like this, as Tierson's getting at, it would have come out earlier. If the kind of interaction we have today, look at ACVD Link, right? I mean, you have online and mobile as well apps. You can check out the parts, get info, on your design. You can post up your screenshots and your ACs, to a greater server and stuff like that. Not sure if From's going to stay in that vein, but I mean, I think that's pretty much along the lines of something that makes sense. Having an online presence and having a browsing presence there for ACs like that, just to go through and check out those kind of features and browse through parts. But the actual playing, you're still doing that on console and everything like that. Going to agree with you, too, Greg, about AC's customization. That's obviously one of his biggest selling points. There's other things that have pointed at it, obviously, MechWarrior to a small degree, but never to the level of Armored Core. That's long been,
Yeah.
it's just especially nothing else is quite touched yet.
This is the weirdest part, is that there has not been a game like this on the PC that
Right.
even comes close to it for mech. That's the weird part. That's the part where I agree that this makes sense in that area, that wow, nothing like this has come out on
Yeah,
on
isn't
a
that crazy?
computer. It's very weird. But should it be Armored Core? No.
Right, especially with when we look at PC releases and games like this, one thing that's mind-boggling about this is you see how like zealous, yes, I'm saying that, the PC community can be about, modding and really making a game their own and taking it working. I mean, you can even, for goodness sake, look what happened with Street Fighter and some of the others like that. That's like modded to no end now and has all kinds of custom skins and all that other crazy
Oh yeah.
stuff. And even
I remember, and this is
yeah, yeah,
old
yeah.
school, but Quake 2, which
Yeah.
back in the 90s, immensely popular. In fact, there probably wasn't a more popular game besides, say, Diablo.
Hmm.
Um, just an immensely popular. But if you didn't catch into the Quake 2 community early on, I mean, after about a year, everything's modded. and
Yep.
everything's been remodded.
Yep.
And if you want to play online, you've got to download patch after patch after patch and mod after mod after mod. And maybe at the end of the night, you're going to be able to join that channel in that room that you wanted to play in. But by that point, they're all gone, and now you got to find a new one. That's what would happen, and that's what should happen with a game like this. Especially, well, obviously things are much faster to download now, and things are, communities have a way of putting these things put together better for new people to join in. But for a game similar to Armored Core, with that kind of customization, that's what should happen with a game like that
Yeah.
on the PC.
It should. I mean, the grounds are there, I think, more than almost any other platform to do so. Especially when you have people willing to go in, at the even like the code level and really look at things, closely like that, and how not just things look aesthetically, how things interact. That sure, there's plenty, there's tons of potential there. And as we're saying, it's amazing you haven't seen something that's really, I think, unlocked that. It's almost like Mecha is a very tiptoe type or subject or game type that we see come up. Like it's visited, but it's like it's never really delved into fully. And when it is delved into fully, it's a focus thing, but it's kind of like a one-off title. Like I was really excited when I saw Hawken announce. Look at the biggest mainstream thing we got now. I mean, with Titanfall. Okay, mechs are there, but are they the main feature? No. I mean, it's an addition to shooting and a shooter and everything else built on top of that.
I wasn't excited to see either.
Yeah.
I saw Hawken and I liked how cool it looked,
Right.
but I hated overall the gameplay. The whole play from the cockpit. No, keep it in your flying games and in some of your racing games. Does not belong in my mech games.
It reminds me, are there any AC fans? Send us a message, make a post, let us know if you were a psycho for just ardently wanting to pilot from your first-person perspective. Like, were you that guy? Were you that guy that entered the code in AC2 and AC3 and the rest just so you could play from first person? I wonder.
That was interesting. That was neat that it was in there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's
because I believe when they put that in, that was as easy as let's just put the camera right here.
exactly. But you miss so much of the coolness. Like it's funny.
You can't competitively play like that.
No, you can't. You can't. Like Armored Core would not have been the same game for me for so many years. Like, I mean, even look the smallest thing, like being able to look. Okay, I'm nutty this way. It's a big deal that I'm able to see my overboost. All right, I have to. Like,
I still miss my radar, and I've been playing without it for almost 3 years.
See. I mean, there's just so many little things I think that benefits from the behind your AC perspective that you have and everything. So yeah, real quick.
I still do that, by the way. I'll be playing, and I'll look up in the top right.
Oh, to look for your radar.
I'll still do it. It drives me nuts.
It's
not until it was gone did I realize how much I depended on it.
It's instinct. It's just instinct by a point. I think, early 5, I was definitely the same thing. I was flying around and I mean, someone went, let me see if they're purple. No, wait, no, it's not there anymore. Let me see if they're yellow. Oh, no, it's not there anymore. No, it's funny how that worked.
Bullshit.
Lols.
Bring back the radar and bring back optional parts.
Missing it. Please do. Hey,
guaranteed they will hit record numbers with this game if they put those in the game.
They're needed.
VD will sell as many copies, if not more, of what they have currently already sold.
It's needed. Real quick though. I kind of joked about this as we were going through the email and everything, kind of pointing at it. Greg, hey, again, just want to say thanks for dropping us a line.
Yes.
A quick note about the way all these things sit. Our podcast channel, if possible, we do our best to see what we can work with, whose ear we can get, especially with Namco. We tried this a lot earlier on, especially looking to see if we can get someone from Namco here. One day, someone from coming on the show would be fantastic. But
Yes.
Our podcast, we initially, we launched and we still work closely, with Armored Core Legacy forums, but we are our own show. This is our own podcast for Armored Core. And the actual makers of AC, From Software in Japan, there really isn't a super tangible link right now, honestly, between the North American community and the JP side. I mean, you can view forums, right? We can all visit. It's the internet, let's face it, right? But yeah, in terms of a just a genuine fan site for both sides, no, not as much. We have Namco as the current publisher for Armored Core, and I'm sure you've looked at some of the older games, but if you just notice, AC's been through a number of publishers. Sega dropped it pretty fast. Age Tech was a publisher for a long time, and currently Namco is. So when we talk about patch changes or things coming up, there's the Namco forums were down for some time, but really for the localization part of it, it's Namco to speak with and everything. The U.S. fan base has had little say on Armored Core's formation over the years in the game that we eventually get and that eventually comes to us. So,
And funny how, since they ignore us so much, sales have declined since when they paid attention to us the most. Just wanted to throw that out there.
oh man. So it's been a really interesting ride. This is definitely, I think, an age of gaming where you have a lot of companies paying close attention to fan input. And ironically, From does with the JP base, right? You see the AC Players site, where you have AC Players from JP side media and talking. From have sponsored a number of events, tons of events in Japan for tournaments. I'm even talking portable tournaments like Last Raven Portable, Silent Line Portable. In fact, Armored Core 5 was announced at the end of a portable tournament. Like
I'm sorry, I giggle every time you talk about a portable tournament.
I,
I just see like a
I
bunch of
don't
people
know.
sitting there and just standing there in one room, ignoring each other, playing on their little handheld. I mean, I'm a gamer, but even then, I just want to start slapping people in the back of the head.
Yeah. And it's funny. I mean, this is a scene, and this is heavily promoted. Heck, you could probably sit and go write a dissertation on the handling of communities from in Armored Core's past and et cetera. There's so much to look at here, dude. And this has been something that we've talked about for years, especially on the U.S. side, and we've gone through all the motions. People have yelled and gnashed their teeth about things. But you know what? In the end, we came together, and we came together over a game that we said, hey, this is a cool thing. We're going to support it regardless. I know Age Tech isn't paying a whole lot of attention except localizing. We know we're not going to get direct attention from. We got the online gutted out, but you know what? We're going to play it still, and things thrived during the LAN era. It wasn't perfect by any means, but we had a community that really dug it behind it, and there's plenty to look at in this topic, Greg. It's not just a clear cut. Well, this is how it was, and this is how it always. It is. There's a lot of little things to this that's always happened.
No, I'm going to take that stance. We're never going to see Armored Core on PC, not unless somebody independently ports it.
Right. But that's the biggest thing, we got to look at. It's there's zero plans in the horizon. We've seen for this is like, oh my gosh, it's going to be announced next TGS. No.
I don't want Armored Core on the PC. I don't want it as an option. Not even if they can connect, the communities from the console to the PC on it. I don't want it. It's not gonna be the same game. This is part of what I was saying. And to be honest with you, I can't even put my finger as to why I feel this way. But Armored Core wouldn't be Armored Core if it's not on a console.
Interesting too. What would this tell me? Would this change anything? What if you used a D-pad for PC?
Nope.
That still wouldn't even do it. It's not. It's beyond the pad issue.
Of sitting, on the TV and it being in my video game console, the controller. The controller is the big thing, which is why that's part of what I said earlier before we recorded the show. But yeah, no, now if they specifically made an Armored Core game for the PC, okay, maybe. But maybe I'm liking that, maybe not. But no, it wouldn't feel the same. It doesn't feel right. Almost as much as how it doesn't feel right that it ended up being on two consoles.
Right. We just wouldn't be down for a dual port as much as you may be receptive to, let's say, like a PC only title of some sort or something to go along with it.
It comes down to how the game's gonna feel when I play it, and I don't know.
It's one of those things that I think is just so hard to freaking picture because it's never happened, and then
it's not gonna happen.
No, and B, having a layout like that. But I don't see why. In fact, if someone can refresh me, has From produced a PC title? at all.
Have they ported Dark Souls to PC? Any of them?
Mm, I want to say yes,
In
honestly.
fact, I'm pretty sure they have.
See, and I'm so bad with this because I mean I played original, but that's just something I didn't pay attention to. Did all of those get a genuine port? So part of that is to look at the history. I think a port is one thing, right? If you can design something for that infrastructure, but another if you're building a title for and only around PC. And I think, let's face it, by this point we've all known From as primarily console developers. So
Well, I'm thinking about this as we're talking. I
yeah.
think what would bother me about Armored Core being on PC, all the things that we've had to deal with, even up to this day, and they've been different depending on which generation and such.
Mm.
I think what would really bug me about Armored Core ending up on PC is then there would be absolutely no excuse.
Mm.
They would have no excuse for problems and errors, and they don't really have much of one now. But there would be I would find it absolutely unacceptable for any problems to be in that game. And if there's anything that Gen 5, and I'm sure Gen 4 if I would have been paying attention then, if there's anything that the games that came out on the PS3 have shown me from back in the PS2 when we had obvious restrictions as far as updates and such, you could always say the excuse of, well, they can't patch this game in the PS2. They can't patch this stuff. They can't do this. They can't do that. But being in this gen now in Gen 5, being on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, what I have learned about From Software and how they handle these games is that they're just damn lazy. They're just lazy. In the expectation of a PC game, they would never match that expectation. They would never meet the expectations of fixing the game the way it should be done, of promoting the game the way that it should be on a PC. There would be no excuse, and it just,
Mm.
I don't want to see it, and I don't think we ever will.
As far as what's been put into each, it's always felt to me at least that maybe this is a natural thing that expansions are always a little bit of a lazier time for AC development. I mean, I'm looking at you a little bit, Verdict Day. Like it actually surprised me. The very first AC that has been on a mainline console that did not have any form of cinematic to it. Uh, that's a surprise to me. Formula Front had a cinematic, and that's not even, I mean, that was PSP based AC, before got its other port. I guess that's a real surprise. It always feels to me, at least, that there's more energy that goes into that number jump, right? 2, 3, 4. Well, 4, you're a different story. I'm not going to go there. 5, etc. And the development cycles of where they want to go. I don't know. For me, I don't feel that From has lost a sense of passion as a company because they still love what they do. I think that, again, many shows ago we talked about this, about the whole identity thing. Too many people didn't like the title of that show, I believe AC Identity Crisis, because everyone thought the topic was supposed to be something else that we didn't even talk about. Anyway, it's as though there's just a very difficult time deciding the exact direction Armored Core is going to go now. They knew they wanted to say, okay, facelift, time for a change. After last Raven Era, we're finally coming out of the dust of 3. Let's shake it off. Let's get something new in here. Let's change things up. But it's been in a state of limbo. I felt ever since going into PS3 and 360 has been a very confusing time for AC. You can even look at the jump from 3 to 4. Look at the jump from 4 going into 5 even. The most drastic. You compare the jump going like 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. Huge. I mean, probably some of the most radical things. And honestly, for 6, I expect something of the same caliber. Change again. If not. So we'll see if they settle or not, if they settle for something new, if they find a fit. But I think it's going to be a matter of finding where AC needs to fit, instead of, it's got to fit this, or it's got to be in this mold, and it's got to please this crowd, and it's got to, don't make it do its backflips. It's cool enough as is. It can stand on its own 2 mechanical legs, or 4. I prefer 4. So,
No to PC. No to
yeah.
PC Armored Core.
Yeah, time will tell on that. There you go. You got a big no from Tierson on PC Armored Core. I'm still a little baffled on what to think about that one. It's so weird for me to imagine AC being on PC. I think even if you put a D-pad with that, right? Or if you just, yeah, you can do that now easily. Or if you just plug your controller up or went with it, that's an oddball. Um, it almost feels like there would be a separate title that would come before that. That was like, or something else that was clearly optimized for PC. But in all honesty, I would love to see console AC straightened out before we start talking about any cross-platform madness. Or let's get AC nice and solid before you even look at anything like that. Why even looking at? Why am I even saying it? It's
From
not going to happen.
Software
It's not going to
needs
happen.
to From Software needs to mature as a
Yeah,
company before they could handle the PC game, because
yeah.
they've obviously shown that they can't handle their games on a console.
So
You know, I
yeah,
PC is uh, the great sandbox for game developers.
hmm
But if you know you're gonna you can't make a game like Armored Core, put it on PC, and expect the way that they've handled it on consoles to even be close to acceptable.
yeah,
It's just that simple.
yeah,
They can't handle it. From Software can't handle a PC game like Armored Core. They wouldn't be able to do it, and they don't back up the community the way they need to. They don't patch their games the way that they need to. They don't promote their patches the way that they should. It, there's no way. There's no
yeah.
way. Armored Core on PC would bury the franchise.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean,
Expectation is too high, and I know you were just talking a bit about expectations
yeah,
and just do what you should do, but there's an expectation to a game that would be like Armored Core being on the PC, and the
yeah.
way that their lack of support for it would not stand. People would leave the game in droves, kind of like what they're doing now, except for it
Yeah,
would be worse.
yeah. And like you said, the expectation behind it. There's a hardcore base, and I'm not. I think it's kind of unfair to compare these two that I'm about to mention because it's completely different crowds. You looked at the massive hype behind Diablo 3 and the hyper dedicated Diablo fans that have been there, since D1 and the rest. And ultimately, what actually happened, expectation versus reality, well, completely different stories in terms of, what fans were supporting, what they were looking for and everything. And, look at Blizzard. The size of, especially ActiBliz, after, their merger and everything, the size of that group and the amount of support they stand to be able to provide and still having players leave in droves from a number of issues that came up. So you take a small studio like From into even a much smaller community like Armored Core, an environment like that, it's still there's still a lot of uphill, too much uphill at this point. So
Well,
um,
okay, so that would be a different conversation for another time, because I think you're meshing into that a
mhm,
little bit of expectations of what the game should be versus the support that they're giving
mhm.
it.
Yeah, and that'll spill into a whole other debate. But I was just about to say, you know what? Any of you have thoughts on this Armored Core and PCs? They mix or do they not? Or get it out of here? Or I want to see it. Hey, post up. Drop us a line. You can send us an email. You can post on over at ACL or by all means on our YouTube channel if you have
I
some
don't
thoughts on that.
I don't want to ever see an Armored Core game on anything more than one
Yeah,
console again, and that
I'm
includes
with you there. I'm with you there.
handheld games, because they screwed over the hardcore fans by releasing exclusive stuff on the handhelds.
Yeah.
That pisses me off too. That's
Yeah,
bullshit.
the who can forget, the special what was it? Special Moonlight and things like that. That's just it's like come on come on, really? I mean, I've heard of people that go out of their way. I mean, to get both versions. I was that guy. Shoot, get your import version when that's out. Get the North American release when that comes out. Double support of AC, and then it's like, oh well, you missed the portable one, and so much for that hidden thing that would have been so cool. Like, dadgum.
If you pay enough attention to Armored Core as long as we have, and if you pay close enough attention like we do, I mean, it's obvious the people behind From Software, the people behind Armored Core, they're a little bit of a nutty bunch. That it's acceptable though, because they come out with a game that you love.
Yep.
But even some of these moves and some of these antics, it's acceptable because they come out with a game that you love.
hmm
But you can tell there's a little bit of fire underneath what I'm saying, especially we have had conversations about the lack of support, the lack of uh, the lack of advertising that they could easily do online on their website.
Oh yeah.
Put together some kind of video about how all the new, all the new voices and all the UNAC stuff that you're coming out with, the on the DLC and all that. There is just such an abundance of laziness from these guys, and it really upsets me because the thing is they don't okay they the guys at From, they don't listen to the Americans too much. You said it before earlier. They
Mhm.
do it to their detriment to the series. They do it to the detriment of their company. Okay, that's known. We know that. But it's almost a little bit of a slap in the face at this point, just how much they don't pay attention to us. But they really should start, and it especially it becomes more of a slap in the face when they do what they did after Last Raven. It's like, oh, we want to listen to the community and we want to find out what kind of Armored Core they want, and they did that with the Japanese base, and then we got the pile of shit that's Armored Core 4.
See, I was just about to point that out, and you hit on that. That the energy is there for the support on the JP fan base. Like I said, there's the AC player site. There's so I mean, even the promotionals, right? I mean, if you guys checked out the Last Raven page, like anywhere from aclr.co.jp, it's dead now. But if you looked at that between like '06 all the way to like 2010 or something like that, right? You could find the promotional commercials that they had for LR. They pushed that. They pushed Nexus. Like they pushed all of those, and there have always been promos. The Silent Lion commercials, the AC3 commercials. It keeps going on and on, right? And then you tie that with the official support for events, for hosted events that From Software help with, and the plugins they have with the forum. There's actually a lot happening there. Now, not sure about the patches. I know they've done a lot of kind of Armored Core Live, and like the live letters where they talk about features. You usually see these before an AC comes out. They were big on this for AC5 and for Verdict Day,
Yeah,
especially.
but dude, those were just a bunch of those guys sitting around wearing
It
stupid
was, it
masks.
was, it was, and I'm naming things though. However,
That was not even really a full notch,
it
a full
wasn't.
step ahead of what we're doing.
It wasn't. However, it still points to a rather focused outlet. And you could bundle that into a large amount of like the other content and everything they have. Point being, you have all that stuff there. Okay, all that stuff's there, but that's all oriented towards one side of the community.
Right.
And the rest, well, we've done what we always do. We get it, and we take what it is, and we figure it out. So
Yeah. Well, I don't know if From ever listens to this show. I'm sure they've heard about it at this point, maybe checked into it. But the only thing I've got to say, Armored Core 2, they can try to forget that lesson as much as they want, but they cannot forget that lesson. They can't. And as long as they continue to try, they will continue to make bad decisions.
there you have it.
For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I've said it on the show a few times in the past. Armored Core 2, one of the launching games for the PlayStation 2 on both the American side and the Japanese side, Armored Core 2 outsold Japan in America.
Yep.
That is a big deal. That is a
Yeah.
really big deal.
It is. It is. So, if anything, for all we know, in some of this, I can't say I got a full scope on because I don't go read all the JP forums and everything, but I almost wonder, in some cases, is there an overabundance of external input that they take in? Because I said this before. I am so willing to take a game from Software that is genuinely inspired by them and just say, hey, this is how it is, right? Like AC3 and those in the past, weren't expecting patches and buffs, for things. The game was what it was, and it was released, and it's like, hey, here's our inspired idea. Why don't you play this? And we're like, hey, cool. I am so willing to play a game like that, and I really question the amount of fan input you had, let's say in AC1 up through the 3 series, through what we had for 4 to 5. I could be completely wrong. It's felt way more intense. It's felt like more, at least from the JP fan base, into 4 and into 5. Way more.
I don't know if I agree with that with
It's
five. I think
it's
whether it was input or not, I think From took an honest look at what was becoming very popular in consoles, especially on the
right,
American side, which was team-based play.
right.
Again, not direct input, but an obvious trend that they saw.
Yeah, and that's the first time I've seen them post open questionnaires like that. And we always have people from the community who are willing to translate that, and we usually get it in some form or another, and then we'll send in our say on that anyway. But those are out there, for 4A, I know, for 5, for Verdict Day, and I think to a degree 4, although I didn't pay as much attention to that during 4.
Gen 4 is an obvious. It's an obviously influenced
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say Japanese. I'll even go as far as say in overall Asian culture. Um, it's it's 4. It's Gen 4.
It's Gen 4. Leave it at that. So.
It really is. Oh, it's
Oh.
Gen 4. I don't get it. I don't see. That's the thing. This is what frustrates me. This has kind of gone into a full-on rant here at this point. That wasn't the intention, but this is what bothers me. And I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. How do you look at Gen 4 and how crappy that was, and think that going back to that pond again is a good idea? I just don't get that, especially when you have so many other ponds in this world that you could go to for ideas, and they want to give them to you.
Yeah.
But see, this is where I get frustrated with From, and there's so many weird things and so many things that they could do better that it's like they're not a big deal, but they collectively become a big deal, and that's where I'm at with it. And again, I love Armored Core. I love Gen 5. I
Hmm.
enjoy it. Did it hit me the way that Gens 1 through 3 did? No, but it's still a good game. I still play it. I was playing last night. You know, but
Hmm.
yeah. So do I want to see it on the PC? Do I think they should extend what they're doing? No,
Yeah.
I
Right.
really don't. And again, it would not survive on PC. The expectation
Yeah.
for a game like this on a PC, that's almost like them jumping head first into a kennel of rabid dogs.
It's pretty much palpable. Sheesh. Good stuff, man. So, all right,
It's
but
over? I think so.
yeah, we'll see what input's out there on this. But hey, you know what? Thank you, people. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for
Are we
listening.
done?
I'd say so, man. Unless well, you want to cut off the lights? Because you'll be the
What was
first
your
guy
favorite
out.
Easter candy?
My favorite Easter candy, Reese's, closely followed by Snickers.
Snickers not is it? Well, I see. I hate Snickers, so I don't even know if Snickers makes Easter candy. So I
uh,
suppose they do. They probably throw it in a wrapper and say, "Hey, here's some Easter candy
uh,
for it."
yeah, it's all about the Reese's.
We've talked about it in the past. We've even talked about it a little bit earlier, but Cadbury eggs. I know it's an easy answer to go to, but it's the truth for me. Cannot beat Cadbury eggs. I should have been out there after Sunday trying to pick them up for half off. Um, I didn't. That's shameful of me. I remember there was a store when I lived in Texas a few years ago. There was a store that just could not get rid of their stock. They just had way too much, and it got to the point where they were selling them for 10 cents each.
Holy crap!
I went home with a big grocery bag full of Cadbury eggs that day. I
Oh
did.
my
I went up
gosh!
to the checkout, and just poured them all over the checkout lane, and just it was awesome. It was awesome. Yeah, I went home with a whole bag of them. And my girlfriend just shook her head at me. I'm like, whatever, here, have a Cadbury egg. Shut up.
That's amazing. That's like those are prices I'd expect to see like what, like 30, 35 years ago or something. Sheesh.
They used to get that. They used to
You
get like
did.
that too. Back in the day, stores stocked that stuff. It ticks me off. I mean, I got all my Easter shopping done on time and at an appropriate time this year, but I did try to go back and do a last minute thing and try to get a basket made the day before Saturday. It was ridiculous, and stores don't do this anymore. I'm talking to the lady at Walmart, and she's like, "No, what we have out, this is what we have. And then we're out of stock." They never used to do that.
Yeah.
You used to always find stuff, but now they don't care. Now they're just like, "Here's our crap. If you don't like our crap, then go buy some other crap somewhere else." What? It's kind of like From Software. That's kind of like what it is. Unfortunately, I'm not totally wrong on that either.
Oh, that's the best part. Man, oh man. And I think part of it too is people just some people taking pride in their work, man. Oh, some people it's just 9 to 5 or getting a check, or just not going that extra part of it to really check out what's there, to genuinely help a customer. It's just you know taking things for face value and what they are. But yeah, man, there's things that have changed. I mean, you can still find some good stuff out there. I mean, it just kind of depends where you shop and where you go. Interesting that you mentioned you do like some Easter shopping for baskets and stuff. If I get Easter baskets, I'll usually, if I got to send them somewhere, I'll make some kind of order. But look
Oh,
at
you
you.
do the pre-made baskets?
Yeah, man.
Oh, you suck.
Yeah,
You're an
man.
artist. You know better.
I should, right? I totally should. And not just I should, I do. But that's just a total thing. So.
Pre-made. I see those things. Some of them look fun, but most of them are just like, come on, put your heart into it.
Yes, I think some it depends where from. Now there is a maid I do enjoy. Now my mom is really good at making baskets. She kind of has like a small business with that. She does it for holidays, showers, weddings, etc. And she's always creative with that thing. So if I'm really not designing something personal for someone, she's always one of the first ones I'll talk to, and hit up about that. Because
This year I did my first egg hunt.
you did an egg hunt, sweet.
Well, no, I mean, by doing an egg hunt, I had to put together an egg hunt.
You organized one. All right.
Yeah, for my property. I had to at 7:30 in the morning after I was done with my third shift. I had to hide a bunch of eggs. I did not enjoy this experience, although I did enjoy the fact that there was one golden egg. I'm not joking. There was one golden egg that was hidden that had a gift card in it. And I hid that. No one found that. It took them
That's
hours.
awesome.
Took them hours and hours and hours. And the best part was it was sitting right there in the window. Dozens of people walked by it all day until someone finally figured it out.
Under the nose. Good one though. Hey, where was it? Real quick, where was it a gift card to?
Just a Visa gift card.
Okay, cool. It's a general card.
Yeah.
It's
So
the best
the
ones.
rest of them were full of candy, and they were everywhere. And it was fun later on to see people like going all nuts about it, trying to find them. And obviously I know the building pretty well, the building that I manage, so I got them in some good spots. Kind of fun to see all of them miss like the candy filled egg that was right in the elevator, and people go in and out of that thing all day, and nobody saw it for like 2 hours. Stuff like that. The ones in the main lounge, and there was a few that they just kept missing. That's always kind of fun.
Love
Yeah,
it.
they had a lot of fun with it. We had a bunch of prizes, like you opened up your egg and there was numbers in there, and you bring the number in, and they got more candy and stuff. It was a lot of fun. But
Sweet.
just hiding them that morning was horrible. I'm just half awake at 7:30 in the morning after work, and they're just hide an egg here, hide an egg here. And just after about 10 minutes, I'd had enough of it.
Plus, you'd probably be a really intimidating Easter bunny if someone actually ran into you.
Well, part of what pissed me off is, about 5 minutes into it, one of the tenants comes out of their apartment, and I find them, and they've got a bunch of eggs, and like, yeah, I've been finding these eggs everywhere. I'm like, motherfucker, just picked up all the eggs I just hid.
I wonder what they're for.
I hadn't even put out the notice yet because the egg hunt was a surprise. So like, I'm just hiding the eggs. Then I'm gonna put out notice. I don't even have the notice.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I would have expected that person to actually have won the thing. They're finding that easily, not even thinking about it. Sheesh. That's great.
All right, that's it. We're running real late here. This has been a fun one. I always enjoy the throwaway shows.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, so like I said, so we're done. Yeah, I'll take us out.
All right.
Thanks for listening. So here you are, guys. And if there's anything to debate, I'll debate this one to the end. Theme to the best sitcom ever made. Cheers. If you have not watched this show, you have not experienced all of what television has to offer.
Well said.
Such a great show. Spawned a spin-off, of course, Frasier. That actor played that character, I think, for 17 years.
He did. Very, very, very
Ridiculous.
long running, man. And just in the run Cheers had, I mean, you can't knock that. It's funny. I was wondering how many people, we were talking about this at the beginning, were thinking Seinfeld, but no.
Seinfeld's one of them, but Cheers will always be the best. I cannot fathom how they will be able to beat that. such a good show. But there it is, guys. Another episode. Thanks for joining us. If there's anyone left.
And if you're not stoned on Easter candy, yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys. You have a good night. Talk to you next week.
Peace. Peace out.
Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? All those nights when you've got no lights, the check is in the mail, and your little angel hung the cat up by its tail, and your third fiancé didn't show. Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. Roll out of bed, Mr. Coffee's dead. The morning's looking bright. And your shrink ran off to Europe and didn't even write. And your husband wants to be a girl. Be glad there's one place in the world where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.